Let's take a look at the virtual machine option for how you could run software during the semester. So first of all, you need to download and install VirtualBox from Oracle. Then you download the computer science virtual machine image. Then we'll look at step 2 of how you install that image. Now do note this will take up about 40 gigabytes of space on your disk. So if you don't have that space available currently, you need to clear that space or add an additional disk such as a USB drive. And in the third step, we'll have a look at how you can log into the virtual machine and run an application. There are a few parts to installing a virtual machine. First of all, you need to download VirtualBox and install that on your operating system. And inside of there, you install the virtual machine image. So first of all, head to virtualbox.org, click on the download VirtualBox link and download the appropriate one for your operating system. So this for a Mac is about 120 megabytes. Next thing you need to do is download the computer science virtual machine image. So you go to max.hwu.ac.uk/VM and here you can download the standalone VirtualBox image in OVA format. That takes you to a SharePoint page. You need to be logged in with your Heriot Watt account and then you can click to download that file. Now this file is around 14 gigabytes, so it will take a while to download depending on how fast your internet connection is. Has been installed, then you should be able to get a screen like this. I've already got some virtual machines in here, but you may not have if this is the first time you've used it. I've also downloaded that 14 gigabyte Max Linux standalone OVA file. So now I'm going to import that into VirtualBox Manager. You go to File menu, Import Appliance, leave that on the local file system, click on this to find the file, which is in my Downloads folder, and that's the 14 gigabyte file. Click Open on that and continue. You'll see that Steve Mowbray has set up for us already 2 CPUs and 8 gigs of RAM. We can reconfigure all these things later on as needed. It's here pointing to where the machine will actually be installed. So this is a folder on my local machine. You could map this to an external USB drive if you're running out of space. And then click Import. So this will take a couple of minutes now to do. So we'll cut away and come back. Once the file has installed and created a virtual machine, you should have Max Linux standalone machine here. Now you can go ahead and start this up straight away by clicking on the Start button, or we can look at the settings. So I'm just going to check out the settings. So I can see here it's based on Red Hat and there's some advanced settings. I like to turn on this shared clipboard facility to be bi-directional. That means you can copy and paste from the virtual machine to your host machine. You could also add drag and drop there as well if you wish. There's various other things here you don't need to worry about. Under system, if you've got more RAM on your host machine, you can put this up if you need more for your virtual machine. You can also increase the number of CPUs available, and there's various things to do with acceleration. The display, you can give more RAM to the actual virtual machine if needed, and you can scale up the monitor. So if you're on a Mac with a Retina screen display, you may want to scale this up a bit. There's also options here about where the actual disk is stored and network settings, but we won't go into that for now. So click OK, and so I've increased my RAM a little bit there, and now I'm going to start this up. So now we're seeing the virtual machine starting up, and it's running CentOS. There's a couple of error messages there, but don't need to worry about those. And then it will go through the normal Linux startup routines. And now it's asking for login. If you can't remember the details of this, it's on the Heriot Watt virtual machine page. So here we go. User HW initial password is that. Okay. So HW CH. It opens up the terminal window. I can shut that down if I don't need it. I can resize this to take up more space on my screen if I wish, and I can go to applications, and there's a list of all the software, including things such as Eclipse. While that's starting up, I'll just show you some other things that are on here. So I can also go to HTOP and see here that I've got 2 CPUs, and the memory is set on my machine. I've just changed it to almost 10 gigabytes and the various applications running. I could also log into Postgres, that's pSQL, as the user HW, and I'm going to ask it for the password. So that's the same password we used to log in. And now I can list what's actually available on the Postgres server. So there's a whole bunch of different applications in here: Postgres server, Eclipse, MongoDB, and all the various things you find in this window here. When you've finished, you can just hit the X button and it will shut down the virtual machine. Rather than shutting it down and powering off, you can also temporarily hibernate it as another option. It's up to you. And that's it.